This is KGW News at noon.
Flights are back in the air this afternoon after an FAA computer outage grounded all departing planes for hours this morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. That malfunction had a ripple effect of cancellations and delays. NBC's Tom Costello has a look at what happened.
Yeah, good day, and not a very good start to the day here in the nation's airspace. It all started in the 5 a.m. hour in which this critical computer that pilots rely on for airport information, it went down. It's called the NOTAM computer, the Notice to Air Missions computer. It used to be called the Notice to Airmen, now Notice to Air Missions. It's that computer that tells pilots if a runway is down, for example, if they've got, for example, construction equipment on the ramp somewhere, if military airspace is in some way being affected today, that computer system went down. That's critical because the airlines run about 25,000 commercial airline flights every day across the country. And, of course, air traffic control is trying to vector all of those pilots safely through the airspace. And every day you've got about 2.5 million airline passengers flying. The bottom line is that because of that computer system going down, the FAA said domestic airlines could not take off until about 9 a.m. Well, the ripple effect started with that, and the delays and cancellations mounted. So we have seen as many as pushing 1,000 flight cancellations now. I'm looking off screen, and about 6,000 flight delays. And that will continue to roll and exaggerate through the day because, of course, this is like a cascading or a domino effect. One delay and one cancellation creates another, creates another, creates another. This started on the East Coast and began rolling across the country. The good news is, for the most part, aside from California, the weather today across the country has been pretty good, and therefore that's not a contributing factor. What caused this delay, what caused the computer system to go down, we simply don't know. The FAA is looking into it. The FBI says so far there's no indication of a cyber attack. Was this some sort of a computer software upgrade that went bad? We don't know. The DOT, which runs the FAA, the Department of Transportation, says it is investigating that. And President Biden says he is asking for an update as quickly as possible from the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. The bottom line is, if you are flying today and maybe even tomorrow, be prepared for some delays and maybe even cancellations. Check your airline app for that. Back to you.
So we did check in with PDX. Most flights there are running on time, but there are a handful of delays and cancellations. So as always, make sure you check before you head out to the airport. Well, at least we can't blame the weather for the latest travel trouble. Rod, it was nice outside today.
Yeah, speaking locally, of course, we have partly cloudy skies, or we had them up until about 30 minutes ago in downtown Portland. Now the cloud deck has come in from the south, and radar is already showing that we have at least some rain in this band, Salem, McMinnville, back to Tillamook, and now up into Astoria. So now that we're in the afternoon hours, this may break up as it moves to the north somewhat. But anyway, now that we're into the afternoon hours, we do start the clock for the chance of rain showers in the area, and we'll continue to see the cloudiness. Here's Stoller Family Vineyards Estate in Dayton, where I think they have had a touch of rain this morning. And there's the cloud deck that's just really started to thicken up over downtown. We're at 48 degrees. A reminder that the main event is a warm front that will push steady rain to our area later this afternoon or early this evening. This is Futurecast at 7:30. This is all solid rain pushing south to north. And once that starts, really going to be raining, it looks like, much of the overnight hours. 48 now, 48 showers in the area at 4 o'clock. That steady rain this evening for your plans, 46 at 5 p.m. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. This noon, there are several investigations into a Vancouver police officer who ran for Clark County Sheriff last year and lost. Corporal Ray Reynolds was placed on leave 3 weeks ago. Alma McCarty walks us through what's come to light.
The Vancouver Police Department placed Corporal Ray Reynolds on administrative leave pending the outcome of 4 open internal investigations, each pertaining to a different incident. The first investigation dates back to September 8, 2022. VPD looking into possible violations of the employee's speech, expression, and social networking policy and oath of office. The second investigation from October 24th deals with those policies plus the city's standards of conduct policy. The final 2 investigations, stemming from 2 separate incidents on December 20th, pertain to possible standards of conduct violations along with use of force and restraints. A spokesperson for the city of Vancouver confirmed to KGW that Corporal Reynolds was placed on leave on December 21st, but declined to go into further detail due to the active investigations. Last year, Reynolds campaigned to become Clark County Sheriff, touting his 37 years in law enforcement. He made it through the primary in the top 2, but was ultimately unsuccessful, losing the November election to John Horch. OPB reporting one of the 4 investigations is tied to a podcast appearance during Reynolds' run for sheriff, one where he was asked this about members of the LGBTQ plus communities.
There are like some sort of like obscenity laws or that are on the books that can already regulate kind of the current trans push, not just on kids drag shows, but kind of even just the current trans push.
We do have those laws, exposure laws, indecent liberties. All of those things are laws that we have on the books right now that can be prosecuted.
An answer that sparked a Change.org petition calling for Reynolds to be fired, one that more than 1,400 people have signed. We've reached out to Reynolds via email and through 2 Facebook pages for a response, but we haven't heard back. We've also asked the Vancouver Police Officers Guild, the union, for comment. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's senior advisor is stepping down for health reasons. Sam Adams, who was also a Portland mayor, emailed staff yesterday saying he's been struggling with chronic anemia for the past year, and the loss of energy was impacting his ability to do his job. Adams joined Wheeler's staff in early 2021. He served as mayor from 2009 to 2012. In a statement, Mayor Wheeler said in part, "I've worked with Sam for many years and he's a hard worker with a strong vision for Portland. The work he's done during his tenure with my office has helped lead our city in a new direction." Well, on her first full day in office, Oregon's new governor, Tina Kotek, issued 3 executive orders, all of them focused on housing or homelessness. KGW's Blair Best has more.
So today, on my first full day as governor, I am signing 3 executive orders.
In her first full day in office, Governor Tina Kotek is focusing on one of Oregon's biggest challenges.
People are currently becoming homeless faster than we have been able to rehouse people who are living outside.
In a temporary office space inside the state library.
Remember, this is only my first full day on the job. I'm wearing sneakers because I didn't pack other shoes.
Growing pains aside, Governor Kotek started her term by signing 3 executive orders, including declaring a homelessness state of emergency.
Executive Order number 2302 declares a state of emergency due to homelessness.
And another aimed at building 36,000 homes per year.
The housing construction goal is ambitious because Oregonians are demanding bold solutions to address this crisis.
Governor Kotek is also proposing a $130 million investment to help at least another 1,200 homeless people move off the streets within a year.
Governor Kotek, just quickly doing the math here, the $130 million in that investment package, it breaks down to about $108,000 per person if you're going to use that money to help 1,200 people. That's quite a lot of money for each homeless person. Is that how it will break down?
Well, we will be able to share more of those details in the coming days, but think about it this way. It's both rent assistance, which looks different than, building a new shelter, plus providing services. So it breaks down in different ways, but we'll try to get you that info as soon as we can.
She's expecting bipartisan support as she urges the legislature to quickly take up this investment package.
What I have heard uniformly, both from our Democratic leaders and our Republican leaders, is an interest in housing and homelessness. It's affecting all corners of the state. This isn't a partisan issue. And that I'm, in my conversations with the Republican leaders, they know this is a challenge.
Governor Kotek is also meeting with local mayors, including Portland's Mayor Ted Wheeler, to address homelessness in the state's more urban areas.
We clearly have a particular crisis in the metro area. Since the week after the election, I've been meeting with Mayor Wheeler 2 of those meetings took place with the new Multnomah County Chair, Jessica Vega-Peterson. We've been having very frank conversations about how we all work together.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee is outlining his priorities in his State of the State address this week. Yesterday, he said he plans to improve salmon populations, public safety, and mental health support. However, a housing proposal appears to be his #1 priority. Inslee wants to spend $4 billion to ease the housing and homelessness crisis.
That will significantly speed up the construction of thousands of new units that will include shelters, supportive housing, and affordable housing. This will be combined with additional behavioral health support and substance use treatment and employment services and more.
The governor will need some legislative support as well as voter approval to borrow that $4 billion.